In today's video, we're going to explore the profound message of Psalm 23, one of the most famous and beloved chapters in the book of Psalms. This passage has brought hope and comfort to countless individuals in their darkest hours. At its core, Psalm 23 reminds us of the unwavering goodness of God, regardless of our circumstances. Psalm 23, which begins with the iconic line, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," paints a vivid picture of God's care and provision for his people. The verses describe how God leads us to rest in green pastures, guides us beside calm waters, and restores our souls. Even when we find ourselves in the valley of the shadow of death, we need not fear, for God is with us, offering comfort and protection. But today, we want to focus on verses 5 and 6 of Psalm 23, which speak of God preparing a table before us in the presence of our enemies. The prepared table set in the presence of our enemies symbolizes the care and concern God has for us. It doesn't eliminate the existence of our enemies, but it allows us to experience God's goodness and bounty even in their midst. In our lives, we all encounter enemies, those who doubt us, those who wish us harm, or those who actively work against our success. But this verse reminds us that God's blessings are not contingent on the approval of others. He doesn't need permission from the world or even from our enemies to bless us. God blesses us in such a way that even our adversaries have a front row seat to witness his favor. In the presence of your enemies, God prepares a table for you. Think about that for a moment. These enemies, no matter how formidable they may seem, cannot thwart God's plans for your life. They cannot prevent the blessings God has in store for you. As we read in Exodus 23, verse 22, "But if you indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries." God takes your side, and he ensures that his goodness shines through, even when you're surrounded by opposition. God, our good shepherd, generously provides for us, his sheep, as we graze on a flat, open area referred to as a table. He goes ahead of us, preparing the way, ensuring our safety, and watching over us in every situation. Just as a shepherd leaves nothing to chance when it comes to the welfare of the flock, God pays close attention to our well-being. So, whether we view God as the gracious host or the vigilant shepherd, the message is clear: he is deeply invested in our lives. He watches over us, protects us, and provides for us in ways that surpass our understanding. His love for us is unwavering, and his goodness knows no bounds. No matter how challenging your circumstances may be, remember that you serve a God who is not only good but also all-powerful. Your enemies may plot and scheme, but they cannot hinder the blessings God has in store for you. Position yourself to receive God's blessings by delighting in his ways and meditating on his word, just as Psalm 1 verses 1 to 3 advises. Trust in his goodness, for God is a good God, and he will continue to prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. A good example is the story of Jacob in the book of Genesis. Jacob was working for a man named Laban, who is his uncle. Laban acknowledges that he has become wealthy due to the Lord's blessings upon Jacob. Jacob, in response, reminds Laban of his diligent service and how Laban's flocks and herds have prospered under his care. He points out that Laban had very little when he arrived, but his wealth has grown significantly. Jacob expresses his desire to provide for his own family and proposes an interesting arrangement. Instead of requesting a fixed wage, he suggests that Laban allow him to take all the speckled, spotted, and black sheep and goats as his wages. In this way, all the non-blemished sheep and goats remained Laban's, and Jacob cannot be accused of theft. Laban agrees to this arrangement, but he immediately removes the blemished animals from the flock and places them under the care of his own sons, relocating them far from Jacob's reach. Deceiving Jacob, Jacob employs a clever strategy. He takes branches from certain trees, peels off the bark to create white streaks, and places these branches in the watering troughs where the flocks mate. This results in the offspring being streaked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob then separates these offspring from Laban's flock, increasing his own wealth. He repeats this process selectively, ensuring that the stronger animals produce streaked offspring, which become his, while the weaker ones belong to Laban. As a result of this shrewd strategy, Jacob becomes very wealthy, amassing large flocks of sheep and goats, acquiring male and female servants, and possessing many camels and donkeys. See, even though Laban wanted to deceive Jacob, God used it to prosper him. Laban even tried changing the agreement of Jacob's wages 10 times, but Jacob's growth did not stop. In closing, remember this comforting message from Psalm 23. God's goodness and mercy are with you every day of your life. No matter the challenges you face, know that God's love and guidance are always there for you. So, as you go about your day, keep in mind that goodness and mercy are by your side, leading you toward a bright future. Take comfort in these words and the promise of dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you for watching this video, and may God's blessings be with you always.